You know what I haven't had in a while? Egg salad. Not too long ago, I asked a certain somebody on YouTube about their opinion on battle vests, and it got me thinking that maybe I ought to talk about my own for the fun of it. So today, we're going to be ranking every patch on my vest. It's about a 3-year-old vest, and I've been wanting to make an upgraded one for a while now that more accurately reflects my taste. This is just to showcase some bands that I've seen live, and it makes sense because, you know, shows are my #1 outlet for consuming metal. I don't really listen to a lot of metal outside of live shows, which is weird. There's only so many hours in the day. How can I fill those hours listening to music when I have to go online and complain about music instead? Anyways, let's just zip through and see where I would rank all of these patches and see if there's any on here that I wouldn't put on if I was making a vest today. All right, friends, we're just gonna zip through these and I will rank them at the end. So starting on the front left column, this generic Behemoth Patch is one that I snagged from the internet and serves to prove that at one point in my life I wanted to advertise Behemoth so much that I spent time and energy sewing a bootleg patch onto a part of the vest where it doesn't even fit properly. We're off to a rocking good start, aren't we? I like Decrepit Birth a lot, and this patch actually fits the area that it's in. They're especially good as a live band. I think I last saw them on Devastation in the Nation in 2017 or so, and yeah, no, it's a good patch. The Slayer patch I feel about the same way that I do about the Behemoth patch. It was an obligatory choice. I mean, you have to have a couple of big 4 bands on your vest, even if you don't like thrash. It is a battle vest, right? There's no sleeves. It's not a battle jacket. I'll just constantly change the title of the video so that it's always one or the other. Now with Rivers of Nile, we have got a band that I really like a lot. I saw them on tour with Decrepit Birth, and this patch is actually show bought from the merch table. I love the logo. There's just something about this font and the way that those roots or tendrils drip off the R and the L that hits different. Above Rivers of Nile, we have Immolation. This patch was actually autographed on the back for good luck. I saw Immolation in Florida back when I lived down south, and funny story is that I got lost on the way to the concert. It was in this shopping mall, and it was on the 2nd floor, and I was wandering around the 1st floor. Eventually, the only way that I found it was because there were 2 guys who were clearly dressed to go to a metal show, walking around with some pizza, and I just kind of followed them to the back door, and it turned out that they were members of Immolation. It's funny because I've had nightmares about being lost in a mall looking for a concert. I'm serious, it happened like 5 years before. I don't listen to a ton of Immolation, I admit, but I love this patch purely for the good memories factor. Next we have Chthonic. Now sadly this is a bootleg because at the time that I was sewing on this vest there was no official one on the Chthonic store that I could find. But they are one of my all-time favorite bands, so I felt that I needed them on here. The patch has started the most conversations from other fans that want to know where I found it. At the time filming this video, you can snag a real one from Heavy Metal Merchant. I might go ahead and do that myself. The Mayhem Patch is aesthetically pleasing to me. I like that it's a white background with a black font instead of the other way around, and it really strikes me as being just the right size for that part of the vest. I got this patch at the same show as the Immolation patch, but honestly it's kind of like Slayer and Behemoth. I just kind of sort of listen to Mayhem, but I wouldn't call myself a big fan. You know, they're on the vest because I'm a poser, and they seem like the kind of big name that I was obligated to put on the vest. Yeah. I love the shape of the black Tusk patch because it looks like it was made for collars. I saw Black Tusk in their hometown of Savannah, Georgia at the Jinx, which if you were able to visit the Jinx before COVID, it was basically Black Tusk HQ. There's tributes everywhere to one of the band members that passed away, and I remember overhearing one of the owners, managers, or bartenders talking about how they were with Black Tusk on their European tour. It was really special to see, like, you know, a touring act like that with their own home base and the amount of love that they had there. That was really cool. Moving now to the right-hand front side, we start with Amon Amarth. Everyone went through 1 or 2 Amon Amarth phases. We did, don't lie. Like, you know, like Behemoth, it looks and it feels like it was thrown on as an afterthought, and it kind of was, but, you know, I've been listening to Amon Amarth on and off since at least 2008, so they've more than earned their place here. I'm sure they feel truly honored. Warbringer. I've seen these guys twice, and I only got to see them the first time because I was evacuating a hurricane, and it just so happened that they were playing a little ways north of me. Otherwise, I would have been 4 hours away on a work night. The guys are cool. I've been able to briefly talk to them after shows, and the second show, I got a hat signed by them. Like I said earlier, I'm not big on thrash, but this patch reminds me of good vibes. The shape of it is unique. Look at what an incredibly piss-poor job of sewing it I did. There's actually 2 or 3 worse sewing jobs coming up, so stay tuned. Sabaton is the Sabaton of war metal. Cattle Decapitation is the first death metal band that I ever listened to. I stumbled across them online when I was only 11 or 12, and I thought it was hilarious. I even have some of their old 20-year-old emails from their mailing list in my inbox. The logo is iconic, but it does seem unimaginative to place it in a box like this. Believe it or not, this was not a bootleg. This is an official patch. They had a choice of red or gold logo. But yeah, I get it. It's about having a certain shape to fill the vest. I think Pull the Plug patches has just spoiled me where patch shapes are concerned. I missed out on the To Serve Man patch before they sold out, and I'm still a little salty about it. Cryptopsy is the only band that has 2 patches on this vest. They were also on the Devastation on the Nation tour with Rivers of Nile and Decrepit Birth, but the patches come from a tour where they were with Belphegor later on. Like the Immolation patch, this one was autographed on the back for good luck, and for no reason, since it's now full of glue. As I said with the Warbringer patch, there were worse sewing jobs coming up. Say hello to the Suffocation patch. I bought this one online to commemorate the one time I saw them on the 2016 Summer Slaughter Tour. I take back what I said about not liking the big square cattle decap patch. I should never get patches that are shaped like the logo. This is more like it. I saw Nile one time the same night as Suffocation. I was very drunk when I was sewing this one. You can pinpoint the exact places where I said, screw it, it's fine. Finishing off this quadrant is another logo that is not a square. Unlike the Nile patch where I said screw it and kept going, I straight up gave up on the bottom half of this patch. Originally it only had glue, but it was falling off. I like the Black Dahlia murder a lot. They've been around a long time for me, just like Cattle Decapitation and Amon Amarth. My fiance and I actually attended a show of theirs 5 whole years before we officially met. When we talked about it, we found out that we had actually been standing side by side for most of the show. And we didn't know about this until we'd already been dating for a year. So funny how life works. Moving on now to the back of the vest. We'll just start at the top and circle around like a clock, beginning with this one that, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the name of the band. Luckily, I remember that it came from the Mayhem and Immolation show, and so I was able to find out that the band is called Black Anvil. And now that I think about it, that show happened to be the exact time that I started on the vest, and I just wanted to get as many patches for it as possible. So I'm sorry, but if there was any doubt in your mind that I'm truly a poser, this should erase that doubt. I have a patch for a band that I can not only not name 3 songs, I can't name the band. Next to that, we have the second Yeah. Anyways, here's the second Cytoscopy patch that I mentioned earlier, and now that I've gone through the front, I can really appreciate how this maintains the shape of the logo, but also pushes it out a bit so that it's easier to sew. There's still a little red thread in the corner from when I thought that I could do all the patches with thin red thread. That didn't work out. Below that, we have a band that I was super into when I was 17, the almighty Dragonforce. I only just found out yesterday that ZP Thart, the original singer, is now the singer for Skid Row. I guess you could say I kind of outgrew Dragonforce, but they were one of the first bands that I ever saw live, like right after Slipknot, and they were the first band and only band to this day that I have caught a guitar pick from the stage for. Not like just found it on the ground, but actually caught with my hands from the stage. This patch used to be on the front. I don't remember where. It was like the Black Dahlia Murder patch, though. It fell off. And I almost lost it at Welcome to Rockville one year, but was lucky enough to find it in the dirt and take it home, relocating it here to the back of the vest. Here we have Mushroomhead. Bought this at a show in Georgia. Mainly just wanted to have both Mushroomhead and Slipknot on the same vest. That's the only motivation here. Also, fun fact about the last video, where I talked about A Killer's Confession. I made that whole video and I saw them live, and it was a full month later that I realized that the lead singer was Waylon Revis. This band opened for Cryptopsy and Belphegor, and their sound is decent. You can check out A&P Reacts, did a good one on one of their songs once. Unfortunately, the logo design itself is a little 3-edgy 5-me, and I don't know, this is one I might replace with a Pushing Veronica patch. This is one of 2 patches that was ordered from Seasons of Mist, the record label, to commemorate the day that we saw them with Carach Angren. There was a Marduk tour. We weren't able to see Marduk because they couldn't come because of a travel visa issue. But honestly, Rotting Christ, they could really hold it on their own as a headliner. Their Eltha Kyrie became one of my favorite songs of all time ever. This might be one of the best patches on here. We actually have a little scene, a little vampire thing going on with the logo. And I do like my Anne Rice novels. But we got even more going on with the Cannibal Corpse patch. Would we expect anything less? I don't remember where I got it, but I've had the pleasure of seeing Corpse live more than any headlining band over the years, and I have no regrets about it. They play tight. George Fisher is one of the best and sometimes most hilarious frontmen in the business. Alex Webster is also one of the nicest artists that I've ever met. You can often see him interacting with fans after a show, having full-blown conversations just because he can, and that's what he likes to do. Experience Corpse at least once, please, even if you aren't that into death metal. DevilDriver is here for a similar reason to Dragonforce. They were only the second metal headliner that I ever saw. I still spin Pray for Villains on a regular basis. They're not my favorite band per se, but they inspired a strong desire in me to support live music. And so, for that reason, I want to commemorate them, and for that reason alone. I even went as far as having their logo tattooed on my right side. Cringe a little bit, yeah. Oh, look! Another Big Four band. They're on this jacket for one main reason. I wanted to fuse the Megadeth patch with a non-Christian band patch just for the irony. Although I should have picked Rotting Christ instead of Belphegor. Speaking of Belphegor, Belphegor, a fun live show because Bones on the stage, all over and everywhere. I strongly recommend seeing Belphegor live, even if you're not that into black metal. The corny stuff where you call the show a ritual, it's actually kind of fun in person, I think. And Belphegor, it's a little bit toned down compared to bands like Watain, where they actually put a bunch of pickled, severed heads on the stage. Exhumed is one of my favorite live bands, full stop. Very underrated in that regard. I consider them Guar light. Their particular patch, this is just a 2-colored logo, but I also got a few of their pull-the-plug patches releases that have a little more life in them. This patch was obtained in the same order as the Rotting Christ patch. They were seen at the same show. We also have this design as a flag in our bedroom. I agree with Wyatt Exham on Carach Angren. Where the Bodies Sink Forever is a truly great album, but some of their other work can kind of come off as a series of run-on sentences, although there are certainly parts of This Is No Fairy Tale that I do like. I'll save that for if I ever try my hand at album reviews, but I don't listen to Carach Angren a ton, but I think this is it's a nice looking patch. Dark Tranquility, Atoma. This was their headlining Atoma tour, the very same one from the hurricane evacuation where I saw Warbringer for the first time. Again, good times. I like the album art here. This could end up being the best patch overall, and Atoma is probably my favorite album of theirs, but I'm not sure if I've heard all of their older ones yet. Slipknot is kind of like DevilDriver. They were the first metal headliner that I ever saw, and the band that caused me to go down the rabbit hole that is metal in general. But like Dragonforce, I've sort of fallen off from listening to them. They've earned their place here nevertheless. This is also the only patch on this vest that I bought from Hot Topic. Go figure. And finally, the back patch. Who could it be except for the legendary Beatles? John, Paul, George, and Ringo are legends for a reason. It's almost not even fair to compare another group to the boys from Liverpool. This Beatles patch was the first one on the vest because they are the best and always will be. Look at how the color is jacked up here because I'm stupid and tried to iron it in the corner. Why would I iron it? It's not even an iron-on patch. There are a lot of iconic album covers that I could have chosen from, but ultimately I had to go with Abbey Road because even though it's not my personal favorite album, I'd have to argue that it's the most iconic cover. I was, of course, too young to have seen a true Beatles concert, but I was blessed to be able to see Paul and Ringo perform separately in 2014, so I did what I could. All right, that's the video. The only thing left to do is rank them. I'm going to give... not going to go into the separate reasons for the ranking because the video is too long already, but I'll go ahead and blitz through them in text right here, and I'll also put it down in the video description. Go ahead and leave a comment with your least favorite patch and why I'm a complete asshat for even putting it on the vest. And also, please like, subscribe, check out the Instagram, and thank you, and have a nice day. Poser out.